ISIS in Canada again? The failed, you freaking loser plot to attack Jews exposed. Okay, let's get into it. In a chilling reminder of ongoing terrorist threats, Canadian authorities arrested 20-year-old Pakistani citizen Muhammad Shahzeb Khan on September 4th for allegedly planning a devastating attack against Jewish people in New York City. The plot, reportedly in support of ISIS, was intended to coincide with the first anniversary of Hamas's attack on Israel. U.S. Attorney General Merrick B. Garland highlighted the gravity of the situation, stating the defendant is alleged to have planned a terrorist attack in New York City around October 7th of this year, with the stated goal of slaughtering in the name of ISIS as many Jewish people as possible. Khan's communication with undercover officers revealed his horrifying ambitions, including the claim that, quote, if we succeed in our plan, this would be the largest attack on U.S. soil since 9/11. The arrest made near the U.S. Canadian border underscores the critical importance of international cooperation in counterterrorism efforts and the persistent threat posed by extremist ideology. Khan now faces extradition to the United States and a potential 20-year sentence if convicted. Okay, so let's get into this. This freaking loser. I'm just going to start calling these people losers, man. He came to Canada like probably less than a year ago on a student visa. He came into Canada on a student visa. And from Canada started posting about on social media about his support for ISIS and using all sort of like kind of code language to talk about his support for ISIS. And basically, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I didn't read the entire thing, but I read a large portion of the indictment against him, which I love, by the way. It is so interesting because they literally include like screenshots of his posts and stuff and like all the details of what he was saying. I'm like, oh, tell me the details. And so he was planning like in advance, kind of an advanced attack in the United States. So he was planning with the support of someone else in the United States. We don't know who this other person was. He was in Canada. He had an associate in the United States. Don't know who he is. To do this attack in New York. They were originally planning to do it in another city. We don't know what that city was. Then they decided to move it to New York because New York has the largest populations of Jews outside of Israel. And they were planning to do it on, they were planning to attack various Chabad buildings. So, like, Orthodox Jews. They basically were talking to FBI like the whole time. And they thought that the FBI that they were agents that they were talking to also supported ISIS. Now, my understanding is that this guy was not actually talking to ISIS, but he was doing this for the sake of ISIS. You know what I mean? Because there's a difference than if you're actually part of the group versus like you're kind of become wrapped up in their whole thing and decide to do it for the sake of ISIS, right? So he thought that he was talking to other ISIS supporters. Turns out it was the feds. They got you, boy. And basically, they got your ass. He was planning kind of an advanced thing. So he wanted to start an actual in-person secret ISIS cell in the United States. And he was telling the feds that he was talking to this whole time also all these details. Like he was telling them, "Oh, I want you to go conduct like stakeout operations on these Chabad locations. I want you to go document where their emergency exits are so we can close out the emergency exits. I want us to do this inside a building so that police will be able to interfere until it won't be able to interfere until it's too late. Worst case scenario, we're not able to do this. We're just going to go do this in this neighborhood because there'll just be Jews around and we can just go willy-nilly on them. He was even telling
Wow.
them that they should go buy hunting knives so that they can, quote, slit their throats. Like, this is what we're talking about here. He was talking about we're doing this to the kuffar. We are doing this to inspire the ummah to go support the IS. Like, all this stuff, man. Then Armin, then so I got sucked into reading this indictment like I was going through like a drama. Okay. So then when the other ISIS attack was unveiled earlier this summer in Canada, the one that we covered before, that was stopped like right before the father and son were able to do an attack on Toronto. When they caught those dudes, this guy got freaked out. This guy got freaked out. And he started telling his contacts, who were actually the feds, stay off of social media. We need to lie low. We can't let anyone talk about this. And then he started saying to them, Armin, he started sending them information about the guns that he wanted them to use and saying, I need to figure out how I can go practice with this gun because I'm terrified of the gun jamming. And I need to go figure out what to do so I can make sure that the gun doesn't jam when I go do this. I mean, this guy was really planning out the details of this attack, like really getting into the details. And guys, the indictment is publicly available. You can go find it on the DOJ website, okay? And so then what happened was that he decided at some point, and no, he was even telling the people that he thought were his teammates, right? He was even telling them, do not film your video pledging your allegiance to ISIS yet, because they can catch you if you film that ahead of time, because that's part of what happened to the guys that were caught before they could attack Toronto. They had filmed their video with machetes and axes in support of ISIS before they got caught. So he's telling them, like, don't film that video yet. Don't film that video yet. We need to lay low right now. So anyways, at some point he decided to try to enter the United States. He was telling the feds that he was in contact with human smugglers that were going to get him into the US. Because you can be on Canada in a student visa, you can't just enter the US willy-nilly, especially, no offense, if your passport is as weak as the Pakistani passport. I know this because I have friends like that are in Canada on a permanent residency, but their passport is still an Iranian passport, and they have to go through months of stuff at the embassy before they can enter just like an hour and a half south, right? Like it you can't just anyone come across. So anyways, he was active and he was moving towards the border. They had him. When he was going across the border, he changed vehicles 3 separate times, showing that he had a level of operational security, OPSEC, like going through the motions of trying to get into the US. Okay, well, the Mounties, the good old boys in red. Okay, they come, they pull up, they get that guy. The RCMP pulls up, gets that boy. Okay, so he never crossed the US border. But they were playing in his communications, they were talking about how they wanted to do this specifically on October 7th because they knew that there would probably be large congregations of Jews coming together to memorialize the 1-year anniversary of October 7th, or they were going to do it on the 11th because they knew that that was Yom Kippur. So they were going for mass casualty events as much as possible. Okay. So I would like to give a shout out to all of the agencies, international cooperation to make sure that this fucking loser got caught and will be extradited to the United States. Okay? Because let me tell you something, guys. When you see, when you see that there is an indictment unveiled from the Southern District of New York, boy, it's a wrap. When I see the when I see a news report that says this sentence, an indictment was unveiled in the Southern District of New York, I'm like, it's a wrap. Goodbye. It's done for you because they do not mess around. Their their prosecutorial success is they if they are not coming forward with something that they do not have an extremely high degree of certainty that they can follow through on. And so he's cooked. Boys, I believe he's cooked. Ah! So yeah, that's what's going on here, but Canada needs to figure out how they're letting these people in on student visas, man. See, like that's
Well,
what we need to be talked about here.
they're stopping. They're cutting that. Did you not hear? They're actually Canada is moving fast in reducing, um, bringing in students and giving them permanent residentship. A lot of things are happening, changing. And I know this is all political. Like the liberals are noticing how unpopular they are, so they're quickly trying to change their policies on immigration before the elections. But a lot of Canadians are not taking it seriously because it just shows that this is politics. This is not your genuine views, right?
Oh, I wouldn't. Are you
So
kidding me? Mm-mm.
yeah. But a lot of people think like, oh no, everything is going, fall. Like no, I mean, there's a lot of corrections happening. We saw Germany closing down mosques, sending back imams, sending back a whole bunch of people back to Afghanistan, even though it could be a violation of I don't know certain international laws. They're like, fuck it, we're gonna send these back to Afghanistan. They did that. So a lot of we're a lot of these we are seeing a movement in the right direction. Canada, the liberal, I mean, I'm not going to defend them because it's very little too late and it's only a political move because they're saying how unpopular this is. But the fact that Canadians, I mean, Americans are very anti-mass immigration, and it's reflecting itself. I mean, look at the Trump versus Harris debate. Both of them were very aggressively trying to demonstrate to voters that they're going to crack down on this. In Germany, we're saying that. In France, we're saying that. In the European Union, we're saying that. In Canada, we're saying that. That shows that the politicians are noticing that the people want more restrictions on immigration. So it is happening. I mean, the student visas is just recently we had the news that is the government seems to be doing a 180 on that in Canada. So it is happening. I mean, it's not as much as we want, but again, you're seeing that there is a reaction. The movement, the direction seems to be slowly going into the other side. So yeah, I mean, the next in Canada, for example, it seems like it. If everything goes in the same way, the conservatives are going to win, and the conservatives are very much more anti-mass migration than the liberals. So that might be a positive. Might be again. I don't know. No promises. I don't know what's going to happen. Sometimes you see these politicians promising something, and then they come into power. They do something else. So I have no freaking idea. But there does seem to be like all these parties, left, right. They seem to be signaling moving away from mass direction. So again, it shows that activism works. It shows that making your sound heard works. This is the strength of liberal countries. There will be a reaction to you doing it. If your attitude is like, oh, the West has fallen, this all doomerism, this is just basically weak people trying to not have any responsibility or doing anything, because it's either we're like the greatest countries on the freaking planet and there's no room for improvement because we're already fucking great, so I don't need to do anything, or everything has fallen and there's no hope, so I don't need to do anything. This is just you justifying you not doing anything, right? But in liberal
Oh,
societies, there is
Norman,
room
can you
for.
repeat that? Can you please repeat that? That was a word. Oh my god, please repeat that.
I'm just these are just pathetically lazy, weak people trying to come up with excuses to just sit behind their keyboards and just type in live chats and not do anything that is remotely close to hard work and activism or doing
Mm,
any form of politics, because
mm.
they're just weak, pathetic little losers that they want to feel good. They want to feel big without actually being big, right? That's just their inferiority complex, right? But in liberal societies, no matter how hard things get, the fact that they're liberal means that you as a citizen can do something about it. And the fact that things are changing shows that if things are good, they could get better. If things are bad, they could get less bad. And that depends on you, because in liberal countries, you actually have some power in making differences. And if you think you don't, look at the direction things are going. There seems to be The politics seems to actually be a reflection of people being angry, right? The fact that people in Germany are afraid. Why are so many people in Germany afraid of the AfD rising? Why are they afraid? You made them afraid. Your opinions made them afraid. It does something. Again, not that I'm in favor of the AfD, because there's such pro Putin fan. There, all the pro Putin fan base has basically got gathered around
They're
in that
pro- they,
party. So
don't get me wrong, boy. They're problematic.
yeah, I'm not supporting them, but at the end of the day, the fact that people in Germany are so tired of mass migration that have made them popular, and that has made the entire establishment afraid, that shows that the people's opinions and your activism does actually change things. It changes things, right? The fact that in the United States right now, deciding deciding whether or not Trump or Kamala is going to be the leader of the free world, and part of that is based on who ate a cat, was a cat eaten or not, or and if it was eaten, who ate that cat. The fact that that might actually have an influence on who actually sits in the Oval Office, having the most powerful position on the planet, the fact
Don't get
that
me
that
started.
actually has an effect shows that your opinion as a citizen actually there's a lot of consequences on what you as a citizen think. That's why people are going around and figuring out who ate that cat.
I'm gonna
Right?
put my cowboy
This
hat
shows
away on that one. That was embarrassing, man.
no, it sounds embarrassing, but it actually isn't. It's actually, let me actually, I know people think like, oh my God, America. It actually isn't, because it shows how much people's opinions could make a difference. So, from in one sense, it looks embarrassing. Why are Americans investigating on whether or not a Haitian ate a cat, right? And why is that now deciding who gets to control the most powerful godlike army on the planet? It could actually be based on whether or not a cat was eaten, right? I mean, it has some effect. You might look at that and you think like, okay, that is ridiculous. Why is politics like this? But
That's
I
enough
look
to
at
make
that
some
and
people not believe in democracy.
I'm actually happy. I'm actually happy that the United States, with all its might and all its power, has to look at its citizens and justify a statement that was made. That shows the power of the average American citizen. Well, not the average, this in the ones in the swing states at least. That shows how powerful they are. That you actually have to convince them that a cat was not eaten, or a cat was eaten and it was done by a Haitian. That shows that your opinion actually matters as an American. That's liberalism. Right. Anyways.
Boy, we ain't never gonna live that one down. Never living that one down.
Yeah. But oh wait, look at the comments on this. Hold on. Hold on. Look at the comments of this. So breaking
Will
Pakistani
you
national
will you
charge.
read the comments? I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
All right, so this one is saying Pakistani national charged for plotting terrorist attack in New York City in support of ISIS, and this person is saying FBI orchestrated. I'm done believing this utter nonsense. I don't understand what this point is. Brooklyn. What does he not believe? D, what can you help me out here? Is this a conspiracy theorist? Is this all done by the FBI? How is this person a patriot and then blaming the FBI at the same time? Shouldn't you be, as a patriot, shouldn't you be proud of the FBI? I'm not understanding what the hell is happening here. Um, okay, so this person is saying Pakistani national charged for plotting terrorist attack in New York City in support of ISIS, U.S. Department of Justice statement. And this person is saying this is Islamophobia. What, arresting the terrorists is Islamophobia? What the hell is this comment? I don't understand this. By the way, why did the guy get 20 years? Shouldn't he be getting life in prison? Do you guys think 20 years is too lenient? I saw somebody saying 20 years. Yes, here, Sorko was saying 20 years is lenient. You were doing a terrorist attack and you're getting 20 years? Shouldn't you get. I don't know. Yes, and also Artist saying US intelligence is still top tier, to be honest. Yes, it is. Um. Okay, so the guy. So this
Okay,
is
about the
another
20
person
years
reported.
thing. Let's keep in mind that he is a Pakistani national. So he would serve 20
Mhm.
years in the United States and then be deported.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
As a Pakistani national, why should he serve a why would we want him to serve a life prison here in the US?
Well, because you're releasing a terrorist back into the wild. He's not going to be. ISIS going to be waiting for him on the other side and welcoming him with open arms. I think you should keep him.
Mm, I don't know.
Study
There's
the
also
man.
like legal implications of that. I don't know if we literally can. But anyways,
Change the law. Um. Okay. Wait. This is. Hold on. What is this coming? What is the reason for CBC News trying to conceal the identity of these Pakistani terrorists by describing them as Torontonians? This stupid attitude of blaming Canadians and hiding terrorists and their countries should be eradicated. Okay. So
I mean, he has a
I
point
didn't know
because
that.
now I have
Yeah.
full license to look at all Canadians sideways.
Wait, wasn't it? Was how much was CSIS responsible in the intelligence operation? Was it mostly the U.S. intelligence, or can we brag about Canada as
It
well?
was,
Who's
I mean,
who?
I don't know. It was a cooperation according to the indictment,
Mhm.
which was written from the perspective of uh special agent what was her name? Haje Hester describes
Right.
cooperation with Canadian authorities. So shouts out to that special agent because the indictment is like written in her first person perspective of working this case. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Sorry.
By the way, I like how the idiots in the live chat making fun of liberalism for this news don't understand that this shows how much more these governments do to protect you in liberal countries. You think you would enjoy this level of protection and this level of intelligence when it comes to stopping terrorist attacks in other countries? Do you think people in Pakistan or in Iran or in Saudi Arabia or in other countries they enjoy this level of intelligent operations stopping attacks before it happens? These people are ungrateful pieces of shit that don't understand what's happening. This is actually we will complain, and again the fact that we get to even complain shows that we are living in liberal countries. We will complain about why you're letting these guys in, and the complaint seems to be having an effect. But at the same time, these countries are strong enough to stop many of these attacks before they happen. That's the sign of
No,
being a
you want to
superior
even
country.
know to what extent it goes? To what
Mhm.
extent it goes, Armin, that we warn our enemies, our adversaries that actively seek to undermine our liberties about terrorist attacks happening within their own freaking territory. Go look at what happened with the bombing on Qasem Soleimani's freaking funeral
Or
anniversary,
Russia,
or the ISIS attack on Crocus City Hall. The United
neither
States
of them
gave
took it seriously,
advance
by the way.
notice of those mass casualty events. Over 100 people killed in both of those attacks in different nations. Gave advance notice of both of those attacks to these nations. They ignored the forewarning and suffered tremendously, to the point that our officials came out and said, we can't believe that this happened because we gave them so much detail and specificity about how this attack would occur so that they could prevent it. And they didn't. And we're shocked. And yeah, and then they still blamed the U.S. and Ukraine and all that bullshit.
Unbelievable.
Bunch of
Yeah,
losers.
yeah. The reason why they keep calling these other superior countries, as they're saying it's falling, oh, the West is falling, liberalism is failing, is because they themselves know how pathetically weak they are. This is basically coping. This is inferiority complex that they have.
Projection.
It's projection, exactly.
Projection.
Oh, by the way, D is mentioning also in the live chat, I add the craziest comments I found for entertainment. Yes, we should remember to highlight. Sometimes we don't go scroll down. Remind me every time to highlight, because D finds the best comments in these articles. So thank you so much, D, for
She
doing that.
really goes to go find some doozies. Some real doozies.
Yeah, we need them. We need them.
Thank you, D, for being our most amazing editor.
Yeah.
So we got a super chat from GJ.
Mm-hmm.
Directed towards you, Armin. I don't quite get Armin's stance on invites and collabs. There is a great benefit of taking the initiative, and hosting it on AR draws viewers to your channel.
Yeah, I mean, I see the benefit. I just have I've spent a lot of times hunting them down for a long time with no benefit. Like sometimes they cancel last minute. Sometimes they say yes and then they respond to you. So I just need I'm just asking for cooperation. I'm just asking for help, for you guys to help out and convince them and get them to reach out to me, just so that I know that the time I'm spending on it is actually there's a result. uh, because I have had, I need to make sure that the time I spent on it actually will have the result. If it has that result, then yes, I will definitely go do it. All right, we got another super chat.
Yeah, GJ gave a super chat saying about Susanna's ode to the First Amendment last week. Our World in Data ranks freedom of speech and information in 2023. Number 4, Belgium. Number 10, Canada. Number 24, the US. Number 25, the Netherlands. And then I know the US, I think Canada actually ranks more highly in the Freedom Index according to Freedom House. Here's the thing. I understand all of that, but for me, having like the written precedent of the First Amendment enshrined in my constitution is of such supreme importance to me. I have not seen, granted, I'm no political scientist, okay. I've not seen that kind of language enshrined in quite the same way in other countries. And although in practical effect, there might be more or less freedom, for me just having that written down the way that it is very, very important to me, because I see what happens in nations where it's not written the same way where we have it, and it makes that right actually a privilege. um so shall we move to the next
Yeah,
news?
because in countries, even if you have free speech, basically it can be taken away. In the United States, it cannot be taken away. That's the main important difference. I need to see this ranking, because I need to see what their metrics were, because
I know, I'm literally trying to
I
look
don't
up on their website,
I
and I
don't
searched for free speech and there's nothing there.
yeah, I think you're talking about general freedom. I don't think you're talking about free speech. So I have to I don't believe what you're saying unless I see it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um okay. Yeah, Freedom Map. I'm gonna go look at Freedom House. Status.
Yeah. Are you
United
talking about general freedom?
States report.
Alternative sources of
According
information.
to Freedom
Yeah.
House, the United States got an 83 out of 100 last year. Political rights, 33 out of 40. Civil liberties, 50 out of 60. Is there a ranking? Where's the ranking here?
So yeah, I need to look into the study and see why.
See the methodology. Anyways, um,
So this makes no sense, because like Germany is scoring higher than the US. Like, yeah, we need to look into this at some point.
are you looking at Freedom House?
Yeah, but I need to spend time looking into seeing what they're measuring, because
Hmm.
are they talking, maybe they're also talking about the freedom in the sense of the media or the universities or social media, or are they talking specifically regarding the government? Because we're more concerned about what the government can do. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, that's something that we cannot check right now live on air. I have to read through it later.
Global
We
freedom
should move on
scores,
to them.
internet freedom scores, democracy scores. There's many different levels to it, it looks like.
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.